You find the perfect setup. You enter the trade. You set your stop loss right where the textbooks tell you to. Then the price dips. It taps your exact exit level, takes you completely out of the trade, and immediately reverses, rocketing straight up in the direction you predicted all along. It happens so often, it forces you to ask a paranoid question. Is a market operator sitting somewhere, staring at your specific account, hunting your exact stop loss? The short answer is no. Nobody at a major institution is manually targeting your 100-share position. The market doesn't care about you personally. But the market absolutely knows where you, and thousands of traders like you, hide your protective orders. What feels like a targeted conspiracy against your portfolio is actually a massive mechanical engine searching for the one thing it needs to survive: liquidity. To understand why you get stopped out, you must look at the market from the perspective of institutions operating inside the National Stock Exchange. They don't trade 10 shares at a time. They trade in the hundreds of thousands. Here is the core mechanical rule of trading. Every single buyer requires a seller. If an institutional whale wants to buy 100,000 shares, they have to find exactly 100,000 shares actively being sold at that exact moment. If they just dump a massive buy order into a normal, quiet market, there aren't enough sellers to absorb it. That imbalance creates a violent price spike, artificially inflating the stock before their order can execute. They end up ruining their own entry price. So large institutions cannot buy at random. They have to actively scan the market to find dense, concentrated pockets of opposing orders. Their sheer size traps them. They are mathematically forced to push the stock's price toward the specific zones where thousands of available shares are quietly sitting. This chart shows exactly where those shares sit. Every retail trader watches the exact same tutorials and reads the exact same charts. So when they see a strong support line, thousands of them are buying right here and placing their stop losses in a tight, uniform cluster directly underneath it. But remember the mechanics of a trade. If you bought a stock to enter your position, your protective stop loss is actually an automated sell order. When thousands place these sell orders at the exact same price level, they unwittingly build a massive liquidity pool. The institution sees this. They need sellers, and you just provided a vault full of them. So they push the price down, intentionally breaking that obvious support line. Your stops trigger. Thousands of shares are automatically dumped onto the market. The institution's massive buy order absorbs them instantly, completely filling their position at a heavy discount. With their order filled, there is no friction left. They rocket the price upward in the original direction, leaving you behind. That is a stop hunt. It's not malice. It's institutions using the predictable retail crowd to absorb enough shares to safely enter the market. 90% of retail traders actively invite this outcome. They turn their own portfolios into institutional fuel by falling into predictable behavioral traps. First, they set excessively tight stops, giving the stock no room for its normal daily volatility. Second, they place those stops exactly where the rest of the herd does, right on the textbook line, creating a neon target for liquidity hunters. Third, they use terrible risk management. They take on massive position sizes and compensate by squeezing their stop loss to a painfully narrow margin. And fourth, they ignore the broader market context, using tight, fixed stops even on high volatility news days or expiries. As long as you trade like a predictable member of the herd, using identical levels, your capital will always feed the institutional engine. To stop being the fuel, you have to stop trading based on the crowd's rules. You need to identify exactly where the majority of traders are placing their stops and actively keep your orders out of those specific danger zones. Base your exit levels on structural market buffers. Look at the average true range, or place stops below wider swing lows, instead of relying on a random percentage or a tight technical line. But the ultimate rule is position sizing. If a logical structural stop loss is too wide for your account to handle, you do not shrink the stop loss. You reduce your position size until the math fits. Never squeeze your safety net just to feed a greedy trade size. Combining a wider, structurally sound stop with a strictly positive risk-to-reward ratio is the only mathematical way to survive long-term in an environment designed to hunt your orders. Successful traders do not try to predict market manipulation. They manage their risk so efficiently that the manipulation cannot destroy them. How many times have you been stopped out right before a massive reversal? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to keep learning how to trade alongside the institutions instead of against them, subscribe to the channel. Happy trading!